Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the most powerful Republicans in the Republican Party. And by this, I want to make this clear. She's one of their top fundraisers. There's a report out that shows how she basically made Kelly Loeffler stand up and try and argue against, and was going to argue against the certification of the ballot in 2020. Kelly Loeffler, let's just be clear, at that point was, I think the election in Georgia had already happened. So she was a lame duck senator. But because like Marjorie Taylor Greene has such power in the Republican Party and such a relationship with the Republican voters, the Kelly Loeffler just thought, like, if I ever want any, like, even to be able to hang around with the Republicans again, I have to do what she's saying. Now, I think she didn't vote against the certification after the riot that took place in there. But it just gives you a sense of like how powerful Marjorie Taylor Greene is. This is her program, NightTalk.
No, this is. I don't think
Wait,
this is
not
hers. No, this is hers. Is MTG.
But NightTalk is a radio like a local Georgia show. She goes on all the time.
Okay. So it's not hers. All right. So fair enough.
And she does have her own, I believe, but this is like local news.
There's no way for us to know if this is the same older woman who has confronted her on NightTalk before, but she's had like people call in and basically rip into her, which is fun. And something. This one was fun too.
You talk about the women's rights. Okay, you're blaming this all on the women. My body is my body, and I don't want the government telling me what I can do with my body.
Ma'am, are you having children anytime soon? That's my question. I'm asking a legitimate question. And you're right, it's your body, but a baby inside a woman's womb is another person's body, not your body and not my body. And that abortion is murder of another human being, whether that body is inside your uterus or not. But that is murder. I do not support the murder of another human being. I support life, and I will always stand up to fight for the lives of the unborn and life overall. But I don't think you're having children anytime soon. So I appreciate your interest in women's rights, but killing an unborn baby is not a woman's right, and that's not health care.
Okay, if a child is the 10-year-old child that was raped, what about?
Then I think we should put the rapist, a child abuser.
Be punished. The child can't have anything done to her without. The government going after them, fining them, and all that stuff. That's not right.
A child abuser and a rapist should be put to death if they are doing that to a 10-year-old child.
Hold on.
Number one, I think that should be our focus.
So, in the same breath in this clip, she talks about how abortion is murder. By the way, crap talking this older woman who's calling in, like, because she's old, right? She's saying, you're past menopause, right, sweetie? Well, you don't really get to speak on this, do you? But in the same breath, she sees no inconsistency in this argument. Abortion is murder, but we should also put all these people to death. So is murder right, or is it wrong? It's
not life. It's innocent life.
Oh, okay.
Innocent life.
This woman calling in has the same position that got Tommy Lauren basically excommunicated, and we haven't talked about her for years because she said the libertarian position is a pro-choice one.
Yep.
I didn't even remember that. Wow.
That is a very rare occasion, so that should not be the entire premise of the argument on abortion. Again, ma'am, I know you say it's your body, your choice, but I don't think you're having any children anytime soon. I think we need to focus on the future of America, and that's our children, because they are our future. And the unborn, they're our future also. So let's focus on protecting their lives, and instead of being focused on a lie that abortion is women's health care, because that's not health care. Health care saves lives. Abortion kills a life. Thank you so much for your question tonight.
No, I'm not through. I want you to focus on the fact that you...
Oh, damn. Is there more?
The fact is that abortion actually does save many lives in this country. 40,000 ectopic pregnancies, which require an abortion and extraction for the health and the life often of the mother. You can't have cancer care if you're pregnant. There's multiple instances where literally an abortion, there's no other way to define it, is a function of women's health care. In addition to all the sort of other things, medications that women may take that also happen to be abortifacients. So that's not true. But again, and I say that only if you do not believe that a woman has a right to make a determination of her own body. Let's take a look. This is really important because so much because there's been like 50 years of the anti-abortion propaganda that has really not been addressed. You know, like the idea I think that a lot of people had in the sphere was that we don't really have to address it because it's now a right. And we're just going to allow these people to tire themselves out and they can protest. And there's always going to be a certain amount of people protest, but we don't have to protect it because it's a right. It's an individual right as assessed by the Supreme Court. It's, you know, up until a year ago, it had been around for 50 years, 49 years. It's not going to go away. So we don't really need to inform the public, you know, with stuff.
In fact, we should. Nancy Pelosi, like that generation of Democrat, they didn't even like talking about or saying the word abortion, just saying it's a woman's right to choose in a private decision between her and her doctor as opposed to broader health care.
Before you put this up, scroll down a little bit. I don't want to see the title. No, keep going back up. I just don't want to see the headline, okay, because it's a little bit confusing. All right, we're going to put up, I want everybody to just think for a moment. We know that there is a so-called fetal heartbeat ban on abortion in I don't know how many states now, 4 or 5. They use 6 weeks. If you've been pregnant for 6 weeks, no abortion because there's a baby there. All right? There's a human being in the body of the woman. And that's how they justify an abortion ban at 6 weeks. I want you to picture what you think. It's not a fetus at 6 weeks. It's an embryo. I think it's maybe it could be a ballast. Is that what it is? A bastulist. Whatever it is you think is in a woman's uterus at, let's say, 5 weeks. Picture it in your mind. Now, do you want to see a picture of it? This is a picture. It's coming from a Guardian piece. Here it is.
Aww.
Look at that.
So cute.
It's like a snowflake.
Literally.
Literally like a snowflake.
Not, yeah.
Yeah. Not in the
Metaphorical
lib sense either.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's just a cluster of cells.
Let's scroll down. That's 5 weeks. And really, you should seek out this article and these pictures and show it because we never, it's very hard to find these pictures.
Yeah.
Here, okay, this is 4 weeks of pregnancy. That's where it looks at 4 weeks.
Looks like a sneeze.
Keep going. There it is at 5 weeks of pregnancy. There it is not under a microscope. That's the size of it. What is that, 1/4 of an inch?
Not even almost. Really.
Yeah.
That is pregnancy tissue extracted at 5 weeks. There it is at 6 weeks of pregnancy.
1/2 inch.
Yeah, that's a 1/2 inch.
It'd be tall.
Yep. And here we go. 7 weeks of pregnancy, as you can see. Now it is almost
Now it's just a human being.
3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch. And let's see. That is the gestational sac. I don't no date line on that timeline. Keep going. Here we go. 8 weeks of pregnancy. Oh.
Is that a baby jellyfish?
Now, the reason why there are electrical impulses in there. There's also, to be fair, electrical impulses in your muscles. And they may not be as regular but
that doesn't make it a fetal heartbeat.
No. Nope. Keep going. Let's see. Do we have anything else? There we go. There's 9 weeks of pregnancy. Again, this thing is now 2 1/4 inches long. Oh my gosh. Matt.
You can almost tell which.
It has your eyes.
Yeah. You can almost tell which side is up.
Yep. And here we go. Now,
The whole team.
We should show this to Charlie Kirk and
that's
see
5
what
to
he can
9 weeks.
determine.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's basically half. The above is the number of gestational sacs in one petri dish, showing the progression in growth from 5 weeks of pregnancy to 9 weeks. The sac grows 1 millimeter a day. So those are like 5 different. Those are the size starting with 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks. The big one.
So what this tells me is similar to like the sort of fake artificially produced heartbeat. The images we see through like ultrasound also give a false impression of these things.
Well, you don't go in for an ultrasound until you're like between 15 and 20 weeks, I think it is. And look, the fact of the matter is that even if at 5 or 6 weeks, there was like some formation, like fetal formation, as opposed to this like literally being like looking like something you hawked up after having a chest cold.
It looks like what when we would put bacteria in a petri dish in 7th grade and then come back next week to see what it looked like.
And so this is this is important information to get out for people, because it is not a person. This is not a person.
Unlike the people that Marjorie Taylor Greene in the same breath chooses to say should be put to death. And like, what's interesting too about her just desire to insult this woman, this older woman who's ostensibly a constituent calling in to say, you basically have no right to speak about abortion rights broadly because you are too old to have a child. I guess cis men don't have the opportunity to make legislation about women's bodies either then, by that same logic, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So then screw off. Let's actually just have some sort of panel with women. And when you poll women by women, they don't side with you. We want our abortion rights broadly, and birthing, and people who can give birth want it as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to make that the standard, I'm all for it.
Well, it's also ridiculous because that would mean that nobody can talk about
Anything.
Nobody can talk about confiscatory taxation unless they're a millionaire or a billionaire.
Marjorie Taylor Greene can never talk about anybody except for white women that do CrossFit and cheat
Right.
on their
It's
husbands.
absurd.
I mean,
That's
shouldn't
the
we have
only
a
category
shouldn't we
that
have a
she-
doctor check if Marjorie Taylor Greene's gone through menopause?
I mean, we don't even, we
48.
should inspect
Menopause
her,
o'clock.
right? She should be subject to checks if she wants to speak on certain issues. If she wants to talk about trans people and how they are awful and shouldn't exist, we should inspect her body to see if she's being truthful about her birthing organs.
Right.
I just want to see.